You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
I'm Alex Rodriguez.
And I'm Jason Kelly.
From Bloomberg, this is The Deal. Each week, you'll hear us in conversation with business icons.
This show will explore deal-making across sports, media, and entertainment.
That is a harsh lesson in business.
Sports is not as simple as bringing a bunch of big names together.
I didn't want to do another stomp you out speech.
It opened up so many more doors.
The show is called The Deal.
Listen to The Deal.
Listen to The Deal on Spotify.
Expressing your love can look many different ways. And with the right jewelry gift from Blue Nile, it can truly sparkle. Blue Nile's collection of classic diamond jewelry makes for the kind of gift that speaks volumes without saying a single word. Or switch things up with a sapphire piece sure to spark conversation. Either way, Blue Nile's Diamond Guarantee ensures you get the highest quality at the best price. Express yourself with Blue Nile, the original online jeweler, at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_daddy. I missed you guys, man. You know, I really did. I'm sorry that it's been a little spotty lately, but I'm just, I gotta do it right this year. I think I'm hitting it harder than I ever have in terms of really having fully formed opinions. I've kind of dialed back some of the full reports. Essentially what I'm doing, not that you super care, but just in case you're wondering, like, are you done with that? Can we get more reports, whatever? What I decided to do is I pull the videos into a video editor. I create two folders, good and bad. And when something good happens, I pull it into the good folder, bad, I pull it into the bad folder. And at the end, I've got a good and a bad video. And the main reason that I even bother to do that is and then if I think of it or whatever, if I have any kind of one sentence summaries of my thoughts, I'll put it in there. But it's just so I can reflect back on it, so I can see it with my own eyes. And some of the stuff might not even be super valuable to you because you look at it and go like, why is that a positive play? Because I thought it was. It's something worth pointing out. It's something that he does that I've looked at that other guys are not doing, whatever. So, hopefully I can get through all this and then kind of double back and either expand the amount of prospects I'm looking at or turn those into actually something functional that I can slap on the old X Factor over there. But I did finish the top 10 corners, at least as far as the Beast draft guide is concerned, his top 10. I don't 100% agree with the way he sorts these guys, specifically. Well, we'll get to it, but I think the one guy that stands out that I would change, actually most of this is pretty correct, but TJ Tampa, man, I can't get there. That was the one guy I kind of looked at and went, I don't know that he gets drafted in the second round, man. I mean, maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe I just didn't see the vision for him, but I struggled with him quite a bit. And beyond that, just getting way ahead of myself here, the guy that stood out there's two guys that stood out way more than I thought that they would. One of whom I've kind of got circled on my own. By the way, Max Melton was number 11, so I didn't get to go back and rewatch him, in case you're wondering about that. But Andrew Phillips, I'm guessing that's how you say his name, but I don't know, out of Kentucky. That dude kind of shocked me a little bit. Very shortly after, I saw somebody saying that he's a second-round guy. Some people say he's even a first-round prospect, and I thought, yeah, I could see that. And to be honest, I could see that as a Packers take this guy, and it's like, wait, who? That's sort of the Kevin King pick. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but Kevin King we needed a corner. It's a good pick positionally, but we've got a list of like three guys we like. Kevin King. Isn't that, like, what are you doing? That's like a mid-late second round guy, which, you know, they do that all the time. But I'm just saying, the other guy, Mike Sanders, still out of Michigan, is a massive anomaly to me. Because on one hand, you look at his height and weight, which is 5'9", 182. He's a tiny dude. But it's not even a close competition. Maybe Terry and Arnold can kind of enter the conversation. It's not even close who the most violent corner is, and it's the tiniest corner among the top 10. And so then you kind of enter the question of, He's small, but he doesn't play small. So the only real concern I would have with him is like physical limitations in terms of like if it's a jump ball, maybe you can't get up high enough or something. But, at some point it becomes about function, right? You look at like a nose tackle and it's like, well, he's 300 pounds. He can't be a nose tackle. Well, traditionally, yes, but that's not the question. The question is, what do I need a nose tackle to do? I know I'm off and running here. I spent 2 days watching corners, all right? I got to get some stuff off my chest, and then I promise we'll get into the normal routine here. But I've been bouncing this around in my head. I got to get it out there. If you've got a guy, let's just say he's 295, like, oh, he can't be a nose tackle. It's like, that's true, because just from the standpoint of we've never really seen that. I don't think you can do it. There's maybe some limitations, but what if they're just a complete freak and they can do all the things you want a nose tackle to do? Because that's the question. I need a corner that can do X, Y, and Z. Well, he probably can't do it because he's too small. I'm not asking you about that. Traditionally, a guy that's 5'9", 182 won't have the capabilities to do that. What if I tell you that Mike Sanders still can? Can we disregard that? I understand that the Packers are very concerned about injuries. I get that, and rightly so. But this guy is a frickin' pit bull, man. And it's like, well, he's also relegated to the slot. And it's like, well, okay, I understand. If that's what you believe, if that is the case, that might kind of lessen his value. I saw I posted that I liked Mike Sanders still, and somebody's like, we're going to get Cooper DeJean and then pick up Mike Sanders still in the second round. And I thought about it, and I'm like, dude, I kind of like that. Like, you're getting two pretty physical guys. You're getting your boundary. So you got Jair and Cooper on the boundary, and then you got Mike Sanders still in the slot as a 1-2 punch in the first and second round. Dang. I don't know if he's going to make it that far, but man, as soon as they said that, I thought about it, and I'm like, I like that. All right, I'm done. I'll give you more thoughts as we go along. If you don't know, if you're new to the program, what I'm going to do here is we're going to go through Dane Brugler's draft guide. I think he has the best draft guide out there. There's a lot of good ones. Certainly some Packer ones out there. I guess I won't give any specific shout outs like I did last time, but there's several out there that I would encourage you to get. It's always nice to have like a Packers perspective on stuff. I'm kind of a draft guide nerd. I buy all the draft guides that I can. They're usually just a couple bucks. So, it's like anything else. It's like, well, it's only $5. And it's like, yeah, but you have 23 of them, you moron. That's a lot of money. But we're going to go through the Beast Guide. The thing that I like about it the most is that it's really detailed. It's really goes into their life, how they came up. You get to know them as a person. We know a lot of the other stuff. You can go to any draft guide and they'll be like, here's his strengths, here's his weaknesses, here's his age and his height and his weight. It's like, whatever. It's just different perspectives on their play style, but to some degree, I want to know the player. And it does help. You can say that it doesn't, but when did they start playing? What kind of adversity have they seen in their life? Were they a good high school player? Were they a late bloomer? Was it somebody out of Haiti that didn't even come to America until high school and then picked it up their junior year and was a freak and now they're still developing? I mean, there's so many different things that you learn about these guys. Not to mention he goes into depth talking to their coaches, talking to their families and all this stuff. I don't know how he gets all this information, but I don't know, man. It's wild. Let's start with Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. Let me scroll down here. Terrion Arnold, Alabama, 5'11" and a half-ish, 189, call it 190, out of Tallahassee, Florida. He is just 21 years old, which is obviously fantastic. He's the oldest of three kids, was born and raised in Tallahassee. Started playing sports at age 5. That's like I would say like 70% of the guys that we've talked about, they start at age 5 exactly, including Pop Warner football. His team was the Eagles. However, basketball was his first love and the sport he focused on throughout elementary and middle school. Originally attended Florida State University High School in Tallahassee, joined the football team as a way to stay conditioned for basketball. He played football so he could stay fit for basketball season. That's funny. He saw varsity snaps as a freshman and sophomore playing running back, wide receiver, and DB. However, Arnold suffered a broken ankle in 2018 and missed most of his sophomore season. That's the other good thing is, we generally know about some injuries. He goes in depth. Like if you tore your ACL in middle school, we're going to find out about it. So sophomore season of high school, broken ankle. He was prepared to quit football and focus on basketball, but Charlie Ward, former two-sport star and Arnold's head coach in high school, convinced him to continue playing. That's the other thing, man. There's so many stories like that where they want to focus on basketball or they want to do something else, and just like one person, it's your mom, it's your dad, it's a coach or something. They're like, no, just hang in there. Just give it one more year. And they go on to be superstars, man. I mean, some people that are in the NFL right now. I mean, Jordan Love, it was tentative for him for a while, and he stuck it out. And look at him; he's going to get a massive, multi-million-dollar contract and lead one of the most storied franchises to the frickin' promised land, dude. It's so cool. All right. So, anyways, that coach transferred to a different school, John Paul II Catholic High School. Arnold transferred to the small private school for his final 2 years. He's following the coach over there. Played both ways, DB, corner and safety, and wide receiver. He had a breakout season as a junior, 103 tackles and 1 pick. As a senior, he finished with 49 tackles, 4 picks, returned 2 for touchdowns, and was the All-Conference and 2020 Defensive Player of the Year. He earned an invitation to the All-American Bowl. He played varsity basketball all 4 seasons of high school and led John Paul II in scoring, 16.6 points per game as a senior. He had a 3.8 GPA in high school. He ran track, sprints, jumps, and relays. And that's it. So a little bit of an underachiever. 4-star recruit, number 3 safety in 2021 recruiting class, number 12 recruit in Florida. He ranked number 51 nationally, known more for basketball recruit. He received his first football offer from Rutgers. His recruitment then exploded after he transferred to John Paul II during his junior season. It's so funny. I keep thinking in my mind, like after high school, Rutgers offers him something. No, he's a freaking sophomore in high school, and Rutgers is like, come play with us. He's about to quit football, and he's getting offers from college programs. Then his junior year, he transfers, and everybody wants him. Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Miami, Penn State, and Texas A&M offered him deals. He also had several schools, including Georgia Tech and Illinois, offer him both basketball and football. Ultimately, Arnold narrowed down his final choice to Alabama, Florida, and Georgia before committing to head coach Nick Saban as a corner on signing day. So Nick Saban said, I want you as a corner. He was a number 5 recruit in Alabama's 2021 class behind J.C. Latham, Tommy Brockermeyer, Dallas Turner, and Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's funny, he was behind Kool-Aid, and now he's, ahead of him. He did talk with the basketball coach Nate Oates about possibly playing 2 sports, but he decided to focus on football. Often played one-on-one basketball with Bryce Young after football practice. That's so funny. Too bad you don't have a pick, so you can't take him because you gave it to the Bears. Bunch of morons. His younger half-brother, Leon Washington Jr., the son of former Florida State and NFL running back Leon Washington, was a 3-star recruit in 2024 class, signed with Florida Atlantic. He skipped a senior season after entering the draft. So some of the positives here. First of all, I'm a little bit hesitant on Terrion Arnold. And I understand he's not like a top 5 prospect, but I guess I don't know the conversation around the top prospects and like, is this a lock? Is it kind of close? It's obviously relatively close. And it's funny too, that the thing that I don't like about this whole scouting process is like putting a grade on guys. That's why toward the end I started putting grade ranges, like, 6.8 to 7 or something, or to 9. But it kind of, I'm so freaking ranty today. I'm going to tell you, I'm trying to shorten the story, but it's kind of a long story. So I went to it's like Pork Fest or something. It was like the greatest event of my life. It was in Racine probably 10 years ago. They had just basically pork everywhere. And you could be a guest judge. You pay like $10, $20, and you go in and you sample all the different pulled pork until you're ready to explode. And then you kind of fill out, which one was your favorite or whatever. And then so that's kind of a way for them to collect money. We all vote. Somebody wins. You get this tiny trophy. And then like the official judges vote, and then you get like a bigger trophy, whatever. But the crazy thing about that was it's like, I can't decide because it's not even about best. There's different flavors. Like you try one and it's so sweet and so buttery and it melts in your mouth and it's just, oh. Then you get another one and it's still got some sweetness in there, but it's like more savory and it's got some kick. It's got some spice. So it's like, it's not a matter of better. It's just different. And that's kind of how I feel with some of these corners. Obviously there's some level of quantifying this, but to some degree, it's just, I like Terrion Arnold. He's a physical player. I think he's incredible with his movement ability and his ability to stick on a guy and play the football too. I love the way he moves. I mean, it reminded me, I always think about Jeff Hafley and the way he talks about corners and whatnot. And there's some things he did that really, I don't think we're getting Terrion Arnold, but it really just made me think, man, that's what Hafley's talking about. And the two things, number one, was the way he played man. He did he hit him with one hand and did a little step. That's exactly what Hafley teaches his guys to do. The other thing is the ability to run at full speed, turn your head, and play the ball. And he's got great body control. He can do all that. I think the thing that scares me is he doesn't have the top-end speed like some of the other guys around him. And so the thing that kind of I didn't care for, number one, he plays with a lot of cushion because he's scared of speed. I'm not saying he's super slow. He's like a 4.5 guy. But, Quinion Mitchell's like 4.33. Nate Wiggins is 4.28, and you can see it. And so the concern that I had is there were a couple times, first of all, you give them too much cushion, you give up that underneath stuff. And that's Packer fans, we hate that crap. You give up too much cushion because you're scared of getting beat deep. They run a little curl route, catch it, and get the first down. And then the other thing is, you play up tight, and sometimes he just gets behind you. He doesn't have the makeup speed. So, if we're talking top 10 corners, I kind of expect you to have that, and he doesn't really have it. Otherwise, aside from that, he is unbelievable. He really is. But he's not perfect. There's some concerns there. So that was my takeaway. Some of the other positives that are written here, it says, loves to compete, won't take plays off. I believe that. Carries himself with the charisma and mental toughness desired at the position. Smart, heady player, and does a terrific job communicating with the rest of the secondary. Was an outside corner only in 2022, but they asked him to play inside and outside in 2023, and he did so at a high level. Played 301 combined special team snaps over the last 2 seasons, was a regular on kick coverage and punt returns. He had more passes defended than he had games played, 26 compared to 25. The only FBS player in 12-plus pass breakups and at least 5 interceptions in 2023. Again, I think he does a great job playing the ball. The only real negative that they mention outside of just his general film notes, suffered a concussion in the second half versus Tennessee, October 2023. Summary, 2-year starter at Alabama, Arnold worked primarily as a left outside corner in Nick Saban's scheme and would follow receivers to the slot depending on the matchup. 24.4% of his snaps were inside. That's relatively high. Led the SEC in both passes defended and interceptions. He had 17 and 5 of those. Overall, Arnold offers an ideal blend of cover athleticism and competitive makeup with the ball skills to make plays at every level of the field. He is scheme versatile and has talent to work inside and outside. He can be an NFL team's #1 cornerback, offering a skill set similar to that of Chicago Bears' Jalen Johnson. Well, that's a ringing endorsement right there, huh? And again, listen, there's a lot of guys that can that run a 4.5 that thrive in the NFL. Probably Jalen Johnson. I'm guessing that's why he mentioned him. I'm not saying it's disqualifying. I'm just saying that it's a hurdle that needs to be overcome that you can kind of see some of the issues with, where on the other hand, again, you got guys like Quinion Mitchell and Nate Wiggins where, occasionally they give up the pass deep. That was one of Wiggins, one of the first things I saw is he gave up a pass deep. I'm like, come on, bro. That's what I need you for. But there are plenty of other times they got the makeup speed. They can close the distance. They can do those kinds of things. So anyways, that was my only real concern there. All right, we got to pick up the pace here. Quinion Mitchell is number 2 out of Toledo. My whole thing is that I struggle with the competition. I have a hard time grading a guy. Obviously, he's dominant, but that's what you expect. Now, I don't want to knock the guy and act as though he's bad when he wasn't, and he dominated everybody, but it just makes you wonder, could he do that? Now, the speed is still evident, but it just makes it hard. It's sort of like an incomplete grade for me. I like Quinion Mitchell. I love what he did at the Senior Bowl. The fact that he dominated everybody there is a very serious thing. So I'll take it for what it is. It's just kind of difficult to some degree. But still, his ability to close, some of the stuff that I saw him do, his ability to mirror guys, and they run those quick little curl routes, and you might get a step on him, but man, he just flies in. Talk about vision and break. He'll stand back and just close the gap and just take that ball right out of his hands. But again, probably not going to be able to draft Quinion Mitchell if I had to guess. So he's the third oldest of 6 kids, 2 boys and 4 girls, born and raised in Williston, Florida. He is 22.7 years old, 6 foot 195. He was in a small town, population of less than 3,000, 20 miles south of Gainesville. Grew up very close to his mother, Mashana Solomon, but primarily lived with his grandmother, Marilyn Johnson, until he was about age 9. Mitchell started playing sports at 6, quickly developed a passion for football through Pee Wee. Went to Williston High School, where he was a 4-year letterman, played both ways, corner and slot back. As a sophomore, he had a 6-inch growth spurt and became a starter, posting 4 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. How do you even do that? 6 inches, crazy. As Jordan Love said that too. He was, like his sophomore season, he was real tiny, and then he grew like 6 inches, something crazy. As a junior, he was second-team All-State. He advanced to 1A state playoffs for the first time in almost a decade. For his senior season, Mitchell battled through an ankle injury, finished with 16 tackles, 3 picks, earning an invite to the 2018 Central Florida All-Star Classic. He recorded a combined 1,159 rushing yards and 297 receiving yards, adding 11 rushing touchdowns as a senior and kick return touchdown as a junior. Also lettered in basketball and track, setting a school record in the 100 meters. 3-star recruit, Mitchell was the number 159 cornerback in the 2019 recruiting class, number 253 recruit in Florida. That is rough. Prior to his junior season, the Toledo coach staff discovered him at a recruiting camp and offered him a scholarship. Mitchell also received offers from Florida Atlantic, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Southern Alabama, and South Florida. He committed to Toledo the summer before his senior year, but several Power 5 programs entered the picture, including an offer from Illinois that made Mitchell think twice about his option. In the end, he stayed loyal. That would have been cool if he went to Illinois. In the end, he stayed loyal to head coach Jason Candle and signed with the Rockets. Because of his grades, Mitchell was forced to gray shirt until the 2019 season and sit out a semester before he was able to enroll January 2020. Technically, he was a member of Toledo's 2020 recruiting class. Graduated with a degree in communications and media studies, Mitchell accepted his invitation to the 2024 Senior Bowl. So thoughts on Quinion Mitchell? I mean, again, it's kind of a flavor thing. I mean, he's really, really fast. I wouldn't say he's massively physical. Maybe with wide receivers, he's not necessarily a guy that's loving coming down and smoking people, although he'll do it. But I just think he does a great job running with guys. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, you want a guy that can just handle running with people. He can do it. Apparently, he hit 23.58 miles per hour in practice. The guy can run. He covers a ton of ground. I think he's got plenty of hip fluidity and whatnot so that, again, all the tools you need to be able to stay in a guy's pocket. If you're playing off, can you close that gap? Vision and break. You see the quarterback cock his arm, can you take off and fly? And he can. One NFL scout said, "From now on, I'm calling him right on cue because of his outstanding route recognition, anticipation to locate and play the football. He's got elite ball production with half of his pass breakups coming downfield, the other half from his read and drive conviction." Read and drive. I have to assume that is synonymous with vision and break. Had a 4-interception game, 2 return for touchdowns against Northern Illinois in 2022, becoming the only FBS player with 4 interceptions and 2 pick sixes in the same game since at least 2000. Did not commit a single penalty in 2023 and drew only 1 pass interference flag in 2022. Stronger than he looks and had a 555-pound squat at Toledo. 444 special team snap, blocked a punt in 2023. Reserved by nature and described as humble and reliable by his teammates, but he asked the staff to coach him hard. Admirable toughness and will play through minor injuries, didn't miss a game the last 3 seasons. Everything about the guy, you got to like him. There's a couple, between him and Nate Wiggins, I know the whole Cooper DeJean thing. I know I've been on the Kool-Aid bandwagon. I just feel like from what I see from Wiggins and Quinion, and I know a lot of people are leery of Clemson players. If I had to circle anyone, I'm looking honestly at Nate Wiggins, but I think Quinion is the same thing, although I think also Quinion's probably going to go really early. But just going through this process, man, and trying to think from a Packers perspective, I think if either him or Wiggins gets past like 15, the Packers are getting jumpy. Summary, he was a 3-year starter at Toledo. Mitchell was a perimeter corner in defensive coordinator Vince K-Riz zone-heavy scheme. Only the second player in Rockets history to earn All-American honors in back-to-back seasons. He departed as the most productive defensive back in Toledo history, having set school records for passes defended in a season, 25, and career, 52. Often asked to play on an island, off man, or zone, Mitchell has the athletic talent to mirror all over the field and always appears under control because of his play recognition and composure in coverage. Overall, Mitchell is a balanced-sized speed athlete who stays in phase up and down the field, doesn't panic, and makes plays on the football at a high rate. His tape and traits show an NFL-ready starter with a bright future. All right, we got to squeeze one more in here because otherwise we're not going to get through 10. Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, 6'1", 173, Atlanta, Georgia, 20.6 years old. Yes, I know he's 173, but if there's one guy that if you said of all the corners, let's say first-round guys, the Packers are really interested, I cannot think of anyone better than Nate Wiggins. 20 years old, runs in the 4.2s. I think he's super talented. Maybe a little bit raw, but really young. I just think Goot would just lose his mind for a guy like this. Nathaniel Nate Wiggins grew up outside downtown Atlanta. Tried multiple sports, baseball, basketball, track throughout childhood. Started playing football at age 4 at Pittman Park in South Atlanta. Quickly became his go-to sport. Starred for the Pittman Park Panthers and the Hateville Hornets throughout his youth. His number 2 jersey has since been retired in both leagues. Holy crap. How good are you as a kid that these kids programs retired the number 2 jersey? He originally attended Henry W. Grady High School, now known as Midtown High School. He saw varsity reps as a freshman and nabbed his first career interception. As a sophomore in 2018, he recorded 18 catches for 262 yards. He shined as a junior and announced himself as one of the best players in the state. Okay, humble. Excelling on both sides of the ball, he finished in 2019 season with 30 receptions, 814 yards, 10 touchdowns, adding 25 tackles and 3 picks. Wanting a chance to play against better competition for his senior season, you all suck, I'm going somewhere harder. Wiggins transferred to Westlake High School, the same alma mater as former Clemson first-round cornerback A.J. Terrell. Wiggins helped lead Westlake to an 11-2 record and the 2020 regional title, playing both corner and wide receiver. 16 catches, 428 yards, 5 touchdowns. He earned first-team All-State on defense and was selected for the 2021 All-American Bowl. Wiggins also lettered in basketball at Grady. A 4-star recruit, Wiggins was the number 7 cornerback in the number 2020 in the 2021 recruiting class and the 13 recruit in Georgia. As a sophomore, he got FBS offers from Florida, Kansas State. The recruiting floodgates opened when he received several notable offers after his junior season, including Arkansas, Clemson, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Missouri, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Wiggins strongly considered playing on the West Coast for either Oregon or USC, but he initially committed to LSU prior to his senior season. However, he started to feel uneasy about the situation in Baton Rouge, and he flipped to Clemson the week before signing day. At that point, he had been training with former Clemson defensive back Justin Miller, which played a part in his decision. Wiggins was a 5th-ranked recruit in the Tigers' 2021 class and enrolled early as a 17-year-old freshman. He founded the Wiggs Worldwide Foundation in 2023 to help the he's trying to get the Packers, man. He knows. He founded the Wiggs Worldwide Foundation in 2023 to help the youth and underprivileged communities. Wiggins skipped the 2023 Senior Bowl game and his senior season to enter the 2024 NFL Draft. I'm just saying, man, come on. So one of the things that people look at in the 40-yard dash, they kind of break it up into pieces. One of those pieces is called the flying 20. His flying 20 was 1.76 seconds, and it was the fastest at the 2024 Combine. So in my 2 videos, the one positive and the one negative, I've got 2 clips for the negative that the total video is 17 seconds long. One is him getting beat on a deep route, and granted, I mean, it was one of those perfect passes. He's in the guy's hip pocket, and the receiver's kind of keeping his hand there, kind of pushing him a little bit to keep the distance. You know, I don't want to make excuses for him, but he was in the guy's pocket. The second one, there's really nothing wrong with it, aside from the fact that it appears he grabbed him, which would be a penalty. The positives video is 1 minute and 45 seconds long. So, and that's not uncommon. That's a lot. That's most of these guys. It's, you know, some of them don't have any negatives. Not that that's necessarily the case, just it's not worth making a video of very minor things. But no, I mean, you watch Nate Wiggins play, and again, you know Brian Gutekunst. You've got a guy that started a charity. He's not a 5-star recruit, but I mean, he was a very highly touted guy coming out. I think Gutekunst appreciates that because he's wildly gifted and athletic. He's always been the best. You think about like Rashawn Gary and guys like that, you know, Lucas Van Ness, just these massive freaks. I think Nate Wiggins goes early. I think Quinion Mitchell and Nate Wiggins go early. If they don't, I know I've been banging that. So I was the Cooper DeJean guy. Then I was the Kool-Aid guy. I'm kind of becoming the Nate Wiggins guy, and it makes me sick because I never support Clemson players. But this one just feels right, man. I mean, if for whatever stupid reason Nate Wiggins actually did fall, I mean, that's it. I mean, the Goot would be all over this. And the question for me really becomes, at what point would Goot trade up for a guy like Nate Wiggins? I don't mean any disrespect to Cooper or Kool-Aid. I like him, but man, oh man. 9.44 RAS. I know he's 173 pounds, whatever. Tell him to eat a couple freaking cheeseburgers, you know. Get him up to 180. Nobody will think twice about it. 4.28 40-yard dash. I mean, the guy just flies, man. I think he's a good corner. I just do. I like him. Again, it makes me sick saying it, but I like him. All right. Real quick here. What else do we got? This I don't know if the Packers like this or not, but I kind of do. It's more of a Jair thing. Doesn't lack for confidence and enjoys trying to get in ahead of his receivers. NFL scouts said he's the type of competitor you love on your squad, but despise him if you're not. Listen, I think it's understood, and I think Gutekunst understands this. I mean, there's a line that you don't cross. You start doing things off the field or whatever, but on the field, I think you kind of understand these are the guys you want as cornerbacks. You want these guys with big attitude. I've said that for years. I love what Jair is. Sometimes you maybe got to rein it in here or there or whatever, but even Rasul, he had a big mouth. He was a really nice guy apparently off the field, but on the field, you hate him. He was described as immature when he first arrived by head coach Dabo Swinney, but he was praised by the coaching staff for his maturation and buy-in the last 2 seasons. One of the youngest prospects in the draft class, led Clemson in passes defended each of the last 2 seasons, and was a threat to score with the ball in his hands, returned 2 of his 3 career interceptions for touchdowns. I mean, all that matters is the last part. Again, he was an immature big mouth. Now he's a mature big mouth. I'm in. Not saying he's my favorite corner, but if you're asking me who the Packers are going to draft, all I'm saying is if this guy gets anywhere near 25, Gutekunst isn't going to be able to help himself. That's all I'm saying. Some of the negatives, guilty of grabbing in coverage. That was one of the negatives that I put in there. Needs to continue developing his transition technique. Missed some time because of injuries, hyperextension and bone bruise on his left knee September 2023. Sidelining him for 2 games. Missed 1 game as a sophomore because of a hip flexor. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't sound like anything massive or major. 2-year starter at Clemson, Wiggins was an outside corner in defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin's scheme. Overall, Wiggins' slight frame and suspect play strength are legitimate concerns, but he is a fast and fluid athlete with the cover awareness and on-ball production to be starting perimeter corner in the NFL. He projects as a long-time NFL starter with tools like those of Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. All right, why don't we take a break? We'll come back. We'll get to number 4, Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, and we will try to work through how to pronounce his name correctly. We'll be right back. We all have smartphones, and we all know they're pretty amazing, but they also can be amazingly distracting, especially when we're around other people. So US Cellular wants us to reset our relationship with our phones by putting down our phones for $5. That's right, a company that sells phones wants us to put down our phones. And to see what we find, learn more at uscellular.com/built for us.
I'm Alex Rodriguez.
And I'm Jason Kelly.
From Bloomberg, this is The Deal. Each week, you'll hear us in conversation with business icons.
This show will explore deal-making across sports, media, and entertainment.
That is a harsh lesson in business.
Sports is not as simple as bringing a bunch of big names together.
I didn't want to do another stomp you out speech.
It opened up so many more doors.
The show is called
The Deal.
Listen to The Deal.
Listen to The Deal on Spotify.
Expressing your love can look many different ways. And with the right jewelry gift from Blue Nile, it can truly sparkle. Blue Nile's collection of classic diamond jewelry makes for the kind of gift that speaks volumes without saying a single word. Or switch things up with a sapphire piece sure to spark conversation. Either way, Blue Nile's Diamond Guarantee ensures you get the highest quality at the best price. Express yourself with Blue Nile, the original online jeweler, at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Hey there! Did you know Baker's always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices? And when you download the Baker's app, you'll enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And don't forget fuel points to help you save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. Want to save even more? With a Boost membership, you'll get double fuel points and free delivery. So shop and save big at Baker's today. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
All right. So I have heard Cooper DeJean and Cooper DeJean, as well as some other nonsensical pronunciations. According to the Beast Draft Guide, it is Cooper DeJean or DeJean. DeJean? I'm not sure. I think it's DeJean. It's capital D-E-E, which would be D, and then J-E-A-N, which would be Jean, right? Like jeans. So it's DeJean. Cooper DeJean. That's going to be freaking miserable to reorient myself on that one. Cooper DeJean, Iowa, 6 foot 202 out of Odebolt, Iowa. 21.2 years old. Oldest of 3 boys, born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, grew up in Odebolt, a small town, population less than 1,000, in western Iowa, 70 miles from the Nebraska border. He competed in multiple sports throughout his childhood, mainly baseball, basketball, and football. Basketball was his first love. He quickly became one of the best AAU players in the state. He also played local and travel football and saw time at multiple positions, mostly running back. DeJean attended OABCIG High School. What the heck kind of a name is that? Which includes 4 local towns. Oh, that's why. Odebolt, Arthur, Battle Creek, and Ida Grove. OABCIG. After seeing minimal varsity action as a freshman, he started as a sophomore, wide receiver, and earned all-state honors with 66 receptions, 1,023 yards, 12 touchdowns, added an interception as a DB. As a junior, DeJean moved to quarterback. Led that weird high school to an undefeated 13-0 record. The 2019 2A state championship, first state title in school history. He finished that season with 3,500 passing yards, 1,200 rushing yards, and 66 offensive touchdowns, 42 passing, 24 rushing, plus 34 tackles and 5 interceptions. 2 of those returned for touchdowns. Crazy. And a pair of punt return touchdowns. The amount of touchdowns he got was ridiculous. He earned first-team All-State, All-District honors, and was named District MVP. As a senior, that guy led the team to another undefeated record in 2020, including a legendary performance in the state championship game. For his final season, his 3rd season as captain, he passed for 3,447 yards, 1,235 rushed for 1,235 yards, and accounted for 59 offensive touchdowns, 35 passing, 24 rushing. On defense, he finished with 54 tackles, 3 picks. He again got first-team All-State, All-District honors, was named Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year. He departed that weird high school with numerous school records, including career passing yards, career passing touchdowns. His all-purpose yards as a junior, which was 4,800, and senior 4,600, rank 2nd and 3rd respectively in state history. He was a 4-sport standout in high school and also lettered in baseball, basketball, and track. On the basketball court, he was one of the most productive players in the state and finished his senior year averaging 25.9 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 7.1 assists. He closed his basketball career with 1,832 total points, 58 behind T.J. Hawkinson. In track, he won state championship as a senior in long jump and 100 meters. That's just, I understand this is a state that doesn't have the highest level of competition, but still, that's all ridiculous. A 4-star recruit, he was a number 26 safety in the 2021 recruiting class, number 6 recruit in Iowa. His first scholarship came from Iowa Western and several FCS programs, Illinois State, North Dakota State, Northern Iowa, and South Dakota State. Also extended offers. He visited Iowa for junior day in January 2020 and left with his first FBS offer. He committed to the Hawkeyes 2 months later and shut down his recruitment prior to the senior year. He was the number 3 recruit in head coach Kirk Ferentz's 2021 class. Both of his parents were college athletes. His dad, Jason, who was an assistant coach at that high school, played basketball at Huron University. His mom, Katie, played softball at Briarcliff in Huron. His younger brother, Beckett, finished his freshman season in 2023 as a defensive back at FCS South Dakota. His youngest brother, Jax, is a rising sophomore in high school and next up in the family pipeline to play college football. All right, so got another dynasty brewing here. Couple of the positive notes: plays physical regardless of the down. Receivers know they're in for a dogfight. He's a gunner in punt coverage, 12 special teams tackles, humble and soft-spoken by nature, and deflects praise towards his teammates. He served on the team's player council as a sophomore and junior. NFL scouts say he can channel any nerves into a competitive performance. Experience playing multiple positions in the back 7. Negatives: a little bit grabby in coverage, suffered a broken fibula in his right leg while practicing with the offense. That's got to be unbelievably painful. That was in November of 2023, an injury which required season-ending surgery and sidelined him for most of the draft process, medically cleared in March of 2023. 2-year starter at Iowa, DeJean was an inside-outside cornerback and defensive coordinator Phil Parker's zone-heavy scheme. Also saw snaps at safety and the Hawkeyes' hybrid cash position. Overall, he's one of the best tackling defensive backs in the class, shows playmaking skills and coverage because of his athletic instincts and competitive makeup. Along with an immediate special teams role as a returner and gunner, his NFL starter quality skill set fits interchangeably at cornerback, safety, or nickel. Moving right along is my main man, Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama, 5'11", 196, out of Birmingham, Alabama, 21 and a half years old. JaQuincy, a.k.a. Kool-Aid McKinstry, an only child, grew up in Birmingham, hearing the Kool-Aid nickname from his maternal grandmother, Brenda Allen, who said he had a Kool-Aid smile from birth. Started at age 5, usually a running back, avid basketball player, played wide receiver and corner in middle school, started working out with the Pinson Valley High School varsity squad while in 8th grade. As a freshman, he primarily played wide receiver, caught passes from Bo Nix, it's interesting, until an injury moved him to cornerback. McKinstry helped lead Pinson Valley to a 15-0 record in the 2017 6A state championship, delivering a forced fumble and interception in the title game. Despite Pinson Valley losing its 2018 season opener, McKinstry helped the program win another state title and earn first-team All-State honors on defense. Prior to McKinstry's senior season, head coach Patrick Nix, who is Bo's father and former college football quarterback and head coach, is also interesting, left to take a different job. Sam Shade, a former Alabama and NFL safety and coach, took over as head coach in the 2020 season. As a senior, McKinstry won his 3rd state championship at Pinson Valley. That's crazy. He was named Alabama's Mr. Football and the USA Today Male Athlete of the Year with 45 catches and 706 yards, 11 touchdowns. Added 22 tackles, 12 pass breakups, and a pair of interceptions, despite offense not throwing in his direction. He was also a standout basketball player, surpassed 1,000 points in his prep career. He was a 5-star recruit. McKinstry was the number 1 cornerback in the 2021 recruiting class, number 1 recruit in the state of Alabama. He was ranked number 18 nationally and was the 6th highest-ranked defensive player in his class. As a freshman now, he received his first Division I offer from his hometown UAB. Before the end of his freshman year, McKinstry added offers from more than half the SEC, including Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. He added offers from national programs like Clemson, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, but he wanted to stay in the SEC footprint and named the top 3 of Auburn, Alabama, and LSU. McKinstry had grown up an Alabama fan, always envisioned him winning a national title for the Tide, though, so he officially committed midway through his senior year. He was the number 4 recruit in Nick Saban's 2021 class, behind J.C. Latham, Tommy Brockmeyer, and Dallas Turner. Hoping to be a dual-sport athlete in college, McKinstry, who also recruited by Nate Oates, practiced with the Alabama basketball team. After enrolling in January 2021 until football spring practices started, he decided to give up basketball and focus on football in 2022. McKinstry has several NIL deals, including, of course, the Kool-Aid drink brand. That's hilarious. He graduated with his degree from Alabama. He elected to skip his senior season and enter the 2024 NFL Draft. Some of the extra positive notes: carries himself with confidence on and off the field and has an alpha personality, according to his coaches. Physically and emotionally resilient and didn't miss a game after stepping foot in Tuscaloosa 3 years ago. That's a big deal. Some of the weaknesses: muffed 5 punts over the last 2 seasons. We'll just scrap that. We don't need him to be a punt returner. Didn't miss any games in college, but suffered a concussion versus Georgia in the SEC championship game and sat out most of the second half. Combine medicals revealed a Jones fracture in his right foot. Outside-only corner in college. It's crazy that it's like he's never missed a game in college. Really? So he's never been hurt? Oh, no, he had a concussion and a Jones fracture. But no, he's never missed a game. 3-year starter at Alabama, McKinstry lined up primarily at right outside cornerback in former head coach Nick Saban's scheme. 99.1% of his snaps came out wide. NFL scouts say that both LSU receivers in the draft class, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, have called McKinstry the best cornerback they've faced in college. That's a big deal. I always like to pay attention to that. He raises the degree of difficulty for completions with his length and ability to play through hands of the receiver. Overall, McKinstry doesn't play with a high-level speed or aggression, but he is a long, smooth athlete with a football IQ that should translate quickly to an NFL field. His game reminds me of James Bradbury's, and he will compete for starting reps as a rookie. All right, last one before we take another break here. Mike Sanderstill. This is another guy, as I mentioned, that really stood out to me when I went back and watched him, and it is Sanderstill. I was always kind of, wait, his name is Mikey? Bro, his name is Mikey Sainristil. It's spelled Mike, M-I-K-E. It's pronounced Mikey. This is crazy. Mikey Sainristil. Anyways, dude is 5'9", 182, and is the most violent and aggressive corner of the entire group. It's pretty ridiculous. But out of Everett, Mass., 23 and a half years old, which is another negative. He is a little bit older. Middle child of 3 kids, older brother and a younger sister, born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, seen a few of those. Speaks fluent Creole. Because of civil unrest following Haiti's 2020 election, Sainristil's parents, Carlette and Raymond, moved their family to the United States when Sainristil was 3 months old. The family settled in the Boston area where Raymond worked for a radio station, just as he had in Haiti. Sainristil started playing football at the Pop Warner level for the Cyclones and continued playing through middle school. He attended Everett High School. He was teammates with Louis Seen, Isaiah Likely, and Josiah Stewart. That's crazy. He became a starter immediately as a freshman, playing offense, receiver, and running back, defense, cornerback, and special teams. He was a returner. Sainristil helped lead Everett to back-to-back Division I state championships as a sophomore and junior. I would assume so with that friggin' roster. As a junior, he was named Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year with 13 total touchdowns on offense, 33 tackles, 4 interceptions. As a senior, Sainristil again earned Gatorade Player of the Year in the state and led Everett to 12 wins, with its lone loss coming 2018 state playoff semifinals. He also lettered in track and is a talented musician. He plays the violin, piano, drums, and sang in the choir at Boston Missionary Baptist Church. Well, all right then. 3-star recruit, Sainristil was the number 59 cornerback in the 2019 recruiting class and the number 1 recruit in Massachusetts. After his sophomore year, he received scholarships from Boston College, Virginia Tech, and he committed to the Hokies February 2018. Sainristil added offers from several Power 5 programs like Michigan, North Carolina, Ole Miss, and Wisconsin. After a late push by the Wolverines, specifically by former defensive coordinator Don Brown, Sainristil flipped to Michigan during his senior season. He graduated early and was the number 20 recruit in Jim Harbaugh's 26-man 2019 class. Sainristil signed as an athlete, but preferred to be on offense. He played wide receiver for 3 seasons before the coaches moved him to cornerback for the 2022 season. That's ridiculous. Sainristil took advantage of the extra year of eligibility granted because of the pandemic and returned to Ann Arbor so he could put another year of defensive film together for NFL scouts. So that's another thing where it's like, well, he's 23 years old, and I understand that. But he's 23 years old because he didn't come out last year because he had only been a corner for 1 year, and he was probably told, like, look, you're not going to get drafted early. You can't be a wide receiver and play corner for 1 year and go, expect to go early. So he puts in 1 more year, and at 5'9", you're telling me the guy's a second-round lock? This guy's different, man. He just is. I'm not saying he's going to be a great football player. I'm just saying it's good luck finding a comp. I'm actually excited to see what comp he puts at the bottom here. He graduated with his degree and is currently pursuing his master's in social work because, of course, he is. He accepted his invite to the 2024 Senior Bowl. His nickname growing up was Sweetness. He's 2-time team captain and described as a player coach and influencer by the Michigan coaching staff. Michigan defensive backs coach Steve Clinkscale says Mike has changed the mindset of everybody on our team. He's easy to be drawn to. He has experience inside and outside as a corner and played on kickoff and punt coverage. Honestly, from the negatives, it's mostly that, he's 24 years old and has only played corner for 2 seasons, which, 50% of that I find to be a positive. Overall, or the summary here, 2-year starter at Michigan, Sainristil was a starting nickel in former defensive coordinator Jesse Minter's 4-2-5 scheme, although he also saw 22.1% of his 2023 snaps at outside cornerback. Team voted him MVP of the nation's number 1 defense. That's a big deal. Overall, Sainristil has obvious size limitations that will remove him from some teams' boards, but other teams would be more than happy to bet on his outstanding toughness, instincts, and ball skills. He will compete for an immediate starting reps as a nickel, as a rookie nickel. Yeah, I don't know if the Packers would be willing to swing at him or if they took him off their boards or what, but I just wouldn't be mad about it. I really wouldn't. But I'll tell you what, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got Ennis Rakestraw, another guy that I like, TJ Tampa, who I've definitely cooled on, Andrew Phillips, who I'm a huge fan of, and Kamari Lassiter, who's, We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's PG.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510 Whiskey declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
All right, let's get to number 7, Mr. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri, 5'11", 183 pounds, out of West Dallas, Texas, 21.89 years old. Can I just say first and foremost, my initial run through, the guy that I liked was Ennis Rakestraw. I mean, there were others, but that was one that was kind of like, ooh, I didn't know anything about the guy, and now I really like him. Right, kind of physical, seemed like he'd be a good press man kind of guy. Made sense. Then the combine happened, and it was like, it's over, it's done, he sucks. And in my mind, Rakestraw had like a 2.1 RAS or something. Like it was just the worst thing you could ever imagine. His RAS is a 617. It's really not that bad. He's got a 4.51 40, which there are first-round guys with the same thing. Honestly, the only real red flags, for whatever reason, he decided to do agility drills, and his short shuttle was not good. And then his weight is 183. Everything else is average, aside from his 10-yard split, which is a 9 out of 10. I mean, there's nothing disqualifying here at all. If you want to say he's not going to be a first-round pick, fine, but there are other potential first-round picks with similar RASs that we should maybe talk about. I mean, Kool-Aid McKinstry is a 7.5, 7.55. It's not that much better. I would say it's less likely they go at a 7.5 in the first round than a 6.5 in the second, but what do I know? Anyways, oldest of 4 kids, born and raised in the Dallas area by his mother, Shamika Quigley. At age 3, Rakestraw's stepfather, Walter Quigley, became a father figure in his life, and a few years later signed him up for Pop Warner football. Rakestraw won a Pop Warner state championship. I didn't even know that was a thing. Did it at Texas Stadium. Rakestraw also is a standout basketball player growing up, credits Quigley for coaching and motivating him on the football field, even when he wanted to quit because his smaller size limited his playing time throughout youth football. Went to Duncanville High School, played corner on the JV squad as a freshman before getting called up to varsity. As a junior, Rakestraw helped Duncanville to a 14-1 record, won the 2018 6A district title, with the team's only loss coming in the state championship game. Must have played in the title, I guess. As a senior, Rakestraw again led the program to the state championship game, where they fell for a second consecutive time to North Shore and finished with a 15-1 record. Rakestraw finished his final season with a modest production, but he shined against several highly touted wide receivers, like Rakeem Jarrett and Jackson Smith and Jigba. He also did not allow a touchdown all season, which earned him the 2019 Dallas Morning News Defensive Player of the Year award. Duncanville won 51-6 over his 4 seasons with the program. He was on the Duncanville track team. By the way, if you want your kid to be in the NFL and he's not in track, you've already failed. Because I don't think I've talked about one player this entire time that wasn't on the track team. 3-star recruit, number 70 corner, number 107 recruit in Texas. As college coaches made the rounds at Duncanville, he often went overlooked, mostly because of his size. After his junior season, Rakestraw received his first college offer from Grambling State, followed by his first FBS offer from Air Force and Army. He joined the track team as a junior, and his time helped him garner more attention, leading to several more FBS offers: Colorado State, FIU, Liberty, North Texas, and Wyoming. Midway through his senior season, Rakestraw received his first Power 5 offer from Missouri, recruited by defensive backs coach David Gibbs. After a standout senior season, including another state championship run, his recruitment blew up. He added offers from Arkansas, Baylor, Georgia, Miami, Michigan State, and South Carolina. A few weeks before signing day, Rakestraw received an offer from in-state giant Texas, and then one from Alabama, his dream school from childhood. On signing day, he was prepared to sign with Nick Saban, but he felt a sense of loyalty to Missouri and committed to the Tigers instead. Rakestraw was the number 5 recruit in Eli Drinkwitz's first class at Missouri. He is a 3-time SEC Academic Honor Roll athlete and graduated with a degree in Parks, Recreation, Sports, and Tourism, with an emphasis in sports management. Rakestraw elected to skip his senior season and enter the 2024 NFL Draft class. I want to see something real quick. Oh no, that was Jacob Copeland. I was thinking of that video where the mom walked out on her son because he didn't sign with Alabama. She had the Alabama gear on and everything else. He walked off, but that was a kid who decided to commit to Florida, I guess. I thought maybe that was Rakestraw. I was like, that would have been crazy if that was who that was. But he was described as super competitive by his coaches, clearly carries an emotional swagger on tape. Good amount of special team stuff, played inside, outside. He's got an injury history that will be scrutinized. He suffered a torn ACL in practice October of 2021, requiring season-ending surgery. He missed 4 games and played through several others with a groin injury September 2023. Overall, Rakestraw doesn't have the desired long speed or build for the position, and his injury history is a concern, but he plays aggressive, sticky coverage. With NFL quality movement skills and confidence, he has NFL starting man cover talent if he stays healthy. At number 8 is TJ Tampa. As I mentioned, I couldn't get into it. Couldn't quite see the vision, and wouldn't necessarily be super jacked about Tampa in the second round or certainly first round. However, 6 foot 194, St. Petersburg, Florida, 22 years old. Marquez TJ Tampa has an older sister, grew up in the Atlanta area, played multiple sports throughout childhood, including basketball and football. Attended St. Francis High School in Alpharetta. He was a varsity DB and wide receiver. As a sophomore, he recorded 28 receptions, 560 yards, 4 touchdowns. Midway through his sophomore year, he moved to St. Petersburg with his father, Marquez, to be closer to family. Tampa enrolled at Lakewood, his father's alma mater, and joined the basketball team midseason as a sophomore. As a junior for the Lakewood football team, he posted a bunch of stats, blah, blah, blah. As a senior, Tampa finished with a bunch of stats, earned all-county and all-conference honors for the second straight season. He also earned basketball all-county honors as a junior and senior, was named 2020 County Athlete of the Year. In basketball, he led Lakewood to the conference championship. He was a 3-star recruit, number 171 at wide receiver in the 2020 recruiting class, and the number 149 recruit in Florida, so he was a receiver coming out. He received recruiting interest in the basketball court, too, including offers from James Madison, but he was focused on playing football in college. Iowa State and head coach Matt Campbell started recruiting him early and offered his junior season, initially to be a wide receiver. However, after a campus visit to Ames and a delayed flight that forced him to stay in town an extra day and work out with the defensive backs, the coaches talked him into playing defense. Prior to his senior year, he committed to Campbell and the Cyclones over Cincinnati, Maryland, South Florida, and Syracuse. After seeing Tampa in 7-on-7 tournament, Georgia and head coach Kirby Smart made a late push to sign him, but he stayed committed to Iowa State and was the number 16 recruit in the Cyclones 2020 class, 1 spot behind Xavier Hutchinson. His father was a standout guard at Barry University in Miami, 92-96, leading the team in scoring and steals. TJ's older sister, Nichelle, played college basketball at Western Kentucky, and Barry University, Tampa declined the invitation to the 2024 Senior Bowl. He's got good leaping ability and prides himself on his dunking skills and comes from a basketball family. Head coach Matt Campbell gives Tampa credit for trusting the Iowa State coaching staff when it wanted to move him from wide receiver. Campbell said he's had to work really hard physically and mentally to become great. Not a whole lot of negatives. I mean, again, outside of just the general film notes, but doesn't have a lot of experience as an inside corner covering slot receivers. I don't know that massively matters. Didn't work out at the combine because of a hamstring injury. Not great, not the end of the world. Overall, Tampa gets a little sticky with his footwork at the top of routes, but he doesn't lose much separation and plays with size, range, and ball skills to be disruptive. He has the tools and potential to be starting perimeter cornerback in various schemes. So I suppose you could look at it and say he's got, some room to grow. At number 9, one of my new favorites, Andrew Drew Phillips out of Kentucky, 5'10", 190, out of Malden, South Carolina. He's got the same birthday as me. Different year, obviously. 22 years old. Again, his nickname is Drew. One of 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl, was born in Birmingham, Alabama, lived in Atlanta, grew up in Louisville. He was raised in a family of athletes and played multiple sports throughout childhood. Prior to high school, his father, Carlos, accepted a new job, president and CEO of the Greenville Chamber of Commerce. I didn't know Chamber of Commerce had presidents and CEOs, but that's cool. And the family relocated to northern South Carolina. That's confusing. Phillips enrolled at Malden High School as a freshman and played both ways on the JV team before getting called up to varsity. Started on varsity as a sophomore, earned all regional honors, helped the team to an 8-5 record. For his senior year in 2019, he was named first team All-State and earned an invitation to the Shrine Bowl with 38 tackles and 2 interceptions. Phillips was a standout track athlete in high school and as a senior ranked number 1 in the nation in the triple jump. He twice earned All-State honors and won the triple jump at the 2019 state championship. I don't even know what that is. 3-star recruit, Phillips was the number 47 cornerback in the 2020 recruiting class, the number 10 recruit in South Carolina. As a legacy at Kentucky, he received his first scholarship offer from head coach Mark Stoops the summer before his junior season. Phillips added several Power 5 offers: Colorado, Kansas, Louisville, NC State, Syracuse, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, and West Virginia. But he'd grown up attending Kentucky games, and it was his lifelong dream to play for the Wildcats. Phillips officially committed April 2019 and was the number 18 recruit in Stoops' 2020 class. His father is from Owensboro, Kentucky, and played linebacker for Kentucky from 86 to 90. His mother, LaTanya, was a multi-sport athlete at Danville High School. His older brother, CJ, was an all-conference offensive lineman at FCS Morehead State from 2012 to 16. Phillips graduated with a degree in Integrated Strategic Communications. That's interesting. Some positives here: no stranger to the weight room and plays with functional length and play strength. Experience on punt and kick coverage. 12 special teams tackles in his college career. Experience with both outside and inside. Played every snap as a nickel in 2023 against Tennessee. Ooh, this is bad. For the weaknesses. One of 6 Kentucky players charged with first-degree burglary in connection with an incident at a frat house party. A month later, a grand jury later cleared the players of charges. The players involved then filed a civil suit that was later dropped. I don't know what's going on there. That sounds weird. Definitely be interesting in getting some more context there. It sounds like, I don't know, might have been a nothing situation. We'll see. Overall, Phillips falls short in a few categories. That's a lie, which leads to in-game volatility. I'm just joking. He is battle-tested, tough with the athletic instincts and feisty toughness that will translate to any level of football. He won't be a fit for every team, but offers inside-outside versatility with immediate special teams value similar to Roger McCreary. Wait, who was he didn't give a comp for my dude, did he? No, he didn't. Go figure. All right, final one, finally, Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia. 5'11", 187, Savannah, Georgia, 21.26 years old. His nickname is K3, grew up in Savannah, joined a flag football league at age 3, despite being too young for the league, technically. Okay. He then joined a tackle football team at the age of 6. Excuse me. Let me try that again. He joined a tackle football team for 6-year-olds when he was 4. Can we get to the part where why? How? Technically, he wasn't allowed to, but, he did. So there's that. Also played basketball and baseball, but football became his passion. He looked up to future Georgia teammate Nolan Smith, who was a few years older and also played in the Savannah Youth Leagues. That's funny. Lassiter played for the Savannah Stars for 5 seasons and won a youth league championship. He attended St. James Catholic Middle School in Savannah, played football there, but his mother, Cammie Carter, received a promotion when Lassiter was in 8th grade, and the family moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He enrolled in American Christian Academy, a private Christian school, and started on varsity as a 14-year-old, 145-pound freshman cornerback. As a sophomore, he started both ways. He had his most productive season as a junior. As a senior, Lassiter led American Christian to its 3rd straight regional title before the loss in 2020 state semifinals. Finishing his final season with 32 I don't care. For the prep career, he posted a combined, don't care. Lots of stats. Lassiter lettered in basketball at ACA and joined the baseball team his senior year. 4-star recruit, Lassiter was a number 18 cornerback in the 2021 recruiting class, number 7 recruit in Alabama, number 2 DB in the state behind Kool-Aid McKinstry. After Lassiter's sophomore season, Georgia Tech gave him his first scholarship offer, followed by offers from Southern Miss, FAU, and Yale. 4.0 GPA in high school is how he got the Yale offer. Lassiter played well at an Alabama camp in June 2019 and earned an offer from Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. He added offers from Auburn, Florida State, LSU, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Tennessee, but was waiting on Georgia. At the end of the junior year, Georgia and Clemson made Lassiter his final 2 offers. Despite his Tuscaloosa ties, Lassiter wanted to return to Georgia, and he committed midway through his senior season. He was the number 13 recruit in Georgia's 2021 class. Random fact, Lassiter has a pit bull named Coco. That is awfully random. Thank you for that, Dane. NFL scouts say they, quote, love him in the building, unquote, because of his football IQ and desire to be great. Head coach Kirby Smart said, he's a kid that's been committed to excellence his whole life. He made himself into a really good player through work ethic. He won't be outworked. He won't be outcompeted. You love that about a football player. He, quote-unquote, cares about special teams, according to Georgia coaches. He's durable and played all 44 games his last 3 seasons, starting 29 straight games to finish his career. Only real knock is that he doesn't have experience inside. Overall, Lassiter doesn't have elite physical traits at the position where size and speed are at a premium, but his play recognition and competitiveness are both off the charts. Although he is viewed as nickel only by several teams, he has starting talent that is best suited for a zone match scheme. All right. Well, I think next on the docket will be offensive line. I'm leaning towards tackle. We'll see how she goes. But I will leave it at that for tonight. You guys have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you tomorrow, tonight, whatever. Have a good one. Bye-bye.